work will be a original one, your qualitative one. Then you will also avoid, because of this advantage of plagiarism check is, you will avoid duplication. Suppose somebody else is doing the same research work which you are doing. So you will identify that and you'll stop that and you'll go to the another area which you can carry on your research work. So it helps to avoid duplication of work and do the repeating the same work. And also to helps you to know the different related topics of research. So suppose you are doing in library and information science, you have some related topics. Computer science is related to you. So you say, like, artificial intelligence applied to collection development, artificial intelligence applied to classification, it's applied to some stock verification. Like that, you identify new areas. So what are the related topics in your research, and you do. Somebody has done artificial intelligence related to classification. Somebody can do collection development. Like that, related areas you can identify. Then new areas of research. You will come to know new areas of research. Earlier there were only 4 subjects in sciences like physics, biology, zoology, and chemistry. Now you have so many interrelated subjects, so many subjects have grown. What are those subjects? For example, I've given here cognitive science, meteorology, earth and environmental sciences, chromosome biology, cancer biology, material science, behavioral genetics, neuroethics, then culture, informatics and heritage. See, cultural informatics and heritage is a library science topic. See, now informatics and computing in support of collection, packing and preservation of cultural heritage. That is the topic. So it is a library science latest topic of research. Then cancer biology, bioinformatics, biology plus informatics. Now the latest library science topic which I've seen in latest in Western countries is, one of the topic is information employment of settlement of immigrants. See, when you come to information employment and settlement of immigrants, it talks about sociology and anthropology. But when you come to exploring the role of information behavior in the settlement of Bangladesh immigrants in Canada, is a library science topic. So this is interrelated. You got the point? Information employment and settlement of immigrants, exploring the role of information behavior in the settlement of Bangladesh immigrants. So Bangladesh immigrants behavior in Canada. So this is a topic of recent library science topic which has been submitted in 2020 in Western countries. So now this is one of the thing of advantage of plagiarism is, you come to know related areas of research, identify new areas of research which no one has done so far. So that is one advantage. Another one is, if for some existing research, you can continue with the existing research. Suppose somebody has done the research up to 2005 or 10, the data is available to the cost and you benefit on usage of, let us say, digital library, DSpace, institutional repositories of a library, of a university till so and so period, what are the topics were submitted, then studies on that. Until 2010, somebody has done. From 2010 to 2020, somebody else can take place. So they can do that. So continue the existing research. Recognition of one's own work. What is your own work? You are getting recognition because it is not copied. It is not identical with someone else's research work. So you get that pride that it is your own work. Then you improve your knowledge by going through many literature, and that you improve your knowledge. Okay. Now coming to next is advantages of plagiarism research you have seen. Now coming to reasons for plagiarism. What is this? Why there is plagiarism taking place? Because now it was noticed earlier only in business and medical field. Now it is seen even at the undergraduate level. They are very bored with the assignments and they don't want to do the assignments. And this is because at the undergraduate level and all that, we see plagiarism taking place because of deadline pressures. Last moment they want to submit the assignments. They don't want to keep, they are not able to, difficulty in keeping pace. They are not able to keep pace with the other growing areas of literature, and also keeping pace with the other people. So that is one. Lack of preparation. They don't take their notes properly. They don't do an organized study. So these three things, deadline pressures, lack of keeping pace, lack of preparation, these things result in lots of put pressures on the undergraduate level and all. And it is necessary for the faculty and the students to explore all the means to fight against plagiarism. So most of the students, they feel bored with assignments, they want to copy or they want to do that. So we have to stop this. So we should imbibe proper ethics in them at the undergraduate level only, so that it is a social responsibility of every citizen to see that plagiarism is stopped at the undergraduate level itself. Then what is plagiarism in research? Research, what is research? Research is something finding out, investigation, exploring, isn't it? So specifically, if you go to speak, plagiarism is research misconduct. Something which is not correct in research is research misconduct. Research misconduct means fabrication, falsification, and all. What is fabrication, falsification? See, there are some methods to do research. There are some procedures to follow research. If you are ethically, there are guidelines. If you are deviating from any of the common practices in proposing, performing, reviewing, reporting, and research and creative activities, if you are deviating any from the common practices followed in the research work, it is called misconduct. Misconduct in research. So it is called research misconduct. What is fabrication? Now coming to fabrication, fabrication is nothing. So you add your own data to the research work. You are not doing any research work, but you are simply adding some fictitious data. So now coming to the examples of fabrication, in social sciences, you are conducting an interview or a thing for a fictitious subject, which was questionnaire was not given at all, questionnaire was not distributed at all, results were not obtained, but you given this thing feeling that you have interviewed so many people and you have collected a questionnaire, responses are received for a fictitious subject for which interview was never conducted. That is in social sciences. In sciences, creation of a data set for an experiment. You are creating one data set. You are creating some data set for an experiment. The experiment was not conducted at all. Simply you are adding some data set. So really did not take place. Experiment did not take place. Simply creation of data. Then practice of adding fictitious data. You put your own data. You got some results in your research. When you're doing some analysis, some statistical validation. For statistical validity, you want to bring some statistical validity to your results, and your results are not in accordance to that. So you change the results so that it is in accordance with statistical validity. So this sort of fictitious thing you do. Then in the clinical research, the insertion of a clinical note into the research record to indicate complaints with an element of protocol. That means in a clinical research, suppose you are doing a research on animals or something. You put there that it was followed according to the Committee on the Purpose and Supervision of Control and Supervision of Experimentation on Animals. It was those guidelines are followed. Or this medicine was tested with animals. This medicine was tested with human beings, and positive results were got. Like that, you add some element of note so that it is real and it is to show some protocol that some standards have been followed. So you add something which is not correct. These are the things fabrication. You end up with fabricated data doing all this. What is plagiarism? Accept. Now I already told what is plagiarism. Now let us see. That means it was taken from a Latin word, and it means that you kidnap, you steal somebody else's things. So it can be in the form of songs, it can be dance, it can be photography, it can be term papers. You take someone else's work and pass it off as your own without giving any credit to the original author or the creator. So this is what is plagiarism. And now it can be, examples can be the form of submitting somebody else's term papers, theses, assignment, which you have not written. Just submitting somebody else's and putting your name and submitting. That is one type. Another one is copying somebody else's answers and assignments and submitting as your own. Then quote or paraphrase, take someone else's and write in your own words and submit without giving credit to the original source. Cite data. From someone else's, you take the data and cite without giving credit to the source. Then propose somebody else's idea or proposing. Again, you are not giving source as if it is your own. You are proposing somebody else's ideas as your own. Then you are giving references which is not existing at all. Some author, some title, some pagination which is not existing at all. Or give some author, title, some pagination, fictitious one, which is how much ever you search, you won't get that. Some year something it was published, but you change the year, you change the author, you keep the author, you change the title or the author, give something which is not correct. If you go and check that reference, it will not be available at all. Then submitting someone else's spreadsheet, programs, files with little here and there alterations. Then buying and selling term papers, assignments, dissertation, theses. Somebody else's thesis and this thing you buy and sell. This happens normally, when they are doing a project work. Suppose in my university also, when we were doing PG and course, we were teaching. So, the projects were used to be submitted to the examination, the center, distant education. Those project reports would be evaluated. Next year, the clerk used to remove the cover and sell it to somebody with some 100 rupees, 200 rupees. They will just change the cover, they'll put their name and submit. This is what they were doing, because projects reports in distant education, they don't go for checking also. And this is what one. Then plagiarism is like a plague. Plague means it spreads. Okay, now we see students are exposed to lot of e-resources, e-learning, digital library, students' assignments, seminars. They're all based on these e-resources. Okay, it appears online much before the print version, and it is peer reviewed. So easy to copy and easy to write, because online it appears online. Now we were seeing only in business and medical and pharmacy, but now we've been seeing in academics also. So somebody using somebody in business, so using somebody else's brand name. Suppose it's Reebok shoes or something you're manufacturing. You put that brand name and sell your product, and it is not the original one. And you take their brand and copy their brand, and you sell it. Another thing is the composition of medicine. This happens very frequently in medical field. They take the composition of medicines and they give a new name to the medicine and sell it off. It is against violation of the patent right. Somebody has patented it. Somebody's patent right, somebody has found that new invention that you are stealing. So it will be, even if it is noticed, it is a huge, enormous amount of money you have to pay, plus you'll be even imprisoned for that. So now we see in academics also, this was happening before only in medical field and also in business, but now we see even in academics, because so many, now there are a lot, we see also in phone, everything, spamming, spoofing, all these things, trying to steal somebody's password, somebody's thing, all these are happening. But there are also intelligent network switches which can detect them. But plagiarism is like a plague which spreads in the field. So now we'll see now what are the 10 types of plagiarism. Clone, one is clone. Clone is submitting someone else's work, word to word, exactly word to word, as if it's your own, as if it was your own words. You're taking somebody else's and submitting as your own. Control C is taking significant large portion from a single text. From one text, you are copying so much large portion and taking and submitting without any alteration, without any change or submitting. That is control C. Then find and replace. Here you do some changes in keywords and phrases, but you keep the original content as it is. Only keywords and phrases are changed, but the original content of the document is not changed. It is same as that. So that is also a plagiarism. That is exactly you are written in the essential source of the document. Remix. Remix is they have multiple sources. You paraphrase. Paraphrase means you are taking somebody else's work and writing in your own words. So paraphrase from multiple sources and made it fit together. That is, you put it together. You mix it together by paraphrasing. You paraphrase from multiple sources, from multiple documents, you paraphrase and join it together and show it as your own. Nothing is your idea. It is somebody else's idea. You're combining 4 or 5 people's idea and presenting it. That is remix. Recycle is easily borrow from your previous work. That is, easily borrow from your previous work. That means whatever is your work you have done, you are borrowing it, you have submitted already once. Again, you're resubmitting to another journal. Again, after some time, submitting to another conference. So this is it keeps on. So one by one, you just keep on submitting to different papers. That is self-plagiarism. It happens once when you submit your own type. That is recycle. Then another one is remix. Remix, mashup. Remix, we saw that. Remix is what? Paraphrasing somebody else's and showing it as well. Now, after remix, we have mashup. Mashup means from different materials you copy. Actually, remix is just paraphrasing from different sources. But mashup is just copying from multiple sources. Difference between two is there you are paraphrasing, here you are just copying it. That is mashup. Then hybrid. Hybrid is you will give the correct sources. You will cite properly. But most of the thing is copied from passages from a text without any change. You will also take something which is, you'll take some material from some source and you will cite it. But there are also passages from another source which is not cited at all. So whenever you are taking somebody else's, you have to cite. 404 error. 404 error is, that is, it is not at all there. Some information to non-existent sources, information to some non-existent sources which is not available at all. That is one. And or give incorrect references to the sources. If incorrect references to give, incorrect information to the sources, which is not correct. Author title you change, or pagination you change, or give your year of publication date, something you do so that which is not correct. That is 404 error. Aggregator is, you cite properly. You give from somewhere you have taken some passage and you are paraphrased it. You are giving the author a title. You are giving you due credit to the author. You are citing the source. But your paper is almost the other one's paper. So 95% is belonging to other one's paper. So 5% is your contribution. Can you say that is a research paper? No. At least 25% should be your contribution. That is aggregator. Retweet is also same thing. You do proper citation. You quote proper. You give a citation. You give the author and the title properly, pagination, everything properly. But this also too much relies on the original. It relies on the original. So this is also one sort of plagiarism. So there are 10 types of plagiarism. We saw that. The foremost thing is to educate the users the manner of e-resources, how it should be used. So we have to inculcate the moral values to them, that some software should be used, plagiarism software should be used to check the students' work, so that we bring in moral and responsible students and citizens of India and bring down the plagiarism to the lowest level to become the honest citizens of India in a digital society. So what happened is, how do you educate the manner of e-resources? The e-resources are subject to license agreements. So the license agreements, what the e-resource says, they say that you cannot systematically download all the e-resources. So you are having e-resources. There is a database. You have bought Elsevier database. You cannot keep on downloading from morning till evening. To download system, they will block the publisher will identify your IP address and will block the resources. Even the genuine users will be deprived of the access to the e-resources. So you cannot systematically download. You cannot use some robotic machines to download junk of it. Then another thing is, you cannot, you can use it, or some pages you can Xerox it and distribute in a classroom work or research work. That is admissible. That is a fair use. Another thing is, you can also, the class teacher also can only post a PDF of, cannot post a PDF of the article, can only post the URL of the article. URL, because the URL will open only to the students who have access to the material, who have the access to who are part of the user community, who can access those e-resources through the license agreement. So user community should be part of that licensee. So that way the e-resources can be used without, and your e-resources should not be sold, like you take the junk of it, take print out and sell it in the market. These are the things which the e-resources should be. And all the totally e-book cannot be printed at a time, or even one chapter is printed, you cannot take a full of it and claim it as your own and write it. So these are the agreements which are for using the e-resources. This should be taught to the user community before using the e-resources. We have to educate them. And also, what is fair use? What is fair use? Fair use is, you have to use the resources only for educational and academic purposes. You should not use for commercial purposes. So there is and you can use for reviews, commentary. If there is a person is writing news reporting, or it is a commentary or criticism, you can use the resources and you can comment on that. Suppose there is a passage by poem, some poet has written, you don't need a weatherman to tell which direction the wind blows. This is the quotation which has been taken from a small quotation which is used by another poet to give his observations, or to give his author's observations, or for illustration it is used. It is okay. That is a fair use. But if the same is used to sell your raincoat, then it is unfair use, because you are making profit out of it. You are taking profit out of it. So that is not a fair use. Similarly, there is another example for fair use is, suppose there is a vacuum cleaner manufacturer. He is using the consumer survey report of the vacuum cleaners, and because of this ad, his vacuum cleaners are sold, but people are at large are benefited because they are able to get the information about use of vacuum cleaners, because people at the large, they are getting the information about the use of vacuum cleaners. The information about vacuum cleaners are known to the public, so this is public is benefited at large. So this is advice. This is okay. So this is all. Then suppose there is a 200,000 memo, and out of the 300 words, is it taken? Is it okay? The quality and quantity both should be taken care of for fair use. That is, suppose you have taken out of 200 words, 200,000 memoirs words, you have taken 300 words, it's admissible. It is okay. But if it is the heart of the book, suppose it is Nixon's pardon, that is the heart of the book, and it is only a three letters, 3 words, and you say Nixon's pardon is the heart of the book, the pre-publication of this would affect the sales of the book and will cut down the sales of the book. So it is not, court did not agree to that. So it also depends not only the quantity but also quality. What is the content of the material that you are going to use it for in your, even if you cite it, what is the content you are going to use it. That is important. So these are the things which should be taught to the students, the use of resources, e-resources, and also subject to license agreement and fair use should be taught to them. These are the things which we should check them at before this at the early stage, how it can be checked. Then there are top 10 plagiarism softwares. One is anti-plagiarism, duplicate checker, paper rater, then plagiarism.net, plagium, page checker, Viper, C resources, plagiarism detector. These are top 10 sources. It even checks some formats, grammar checking, writing styles, and all it checks. And author can also check whether their contents are used by someone else online. Then it produces reports very easily within a minute. And this undergraduate level and teachers can use them, and they can also use them for assignments, essays. It's also useful for the website owners. Then it checks billions of documents in the internet and produces the report immediately. The download software downloading is not difficult, and it is easy to download and check your assignment. Or these free sources are easy to download, and you can check whether any of the content contains any internet data. It will not give you subscribed resources check, but it will only give you free internet and open sources. But even then, many people copy from the internet only. So now falsification, we saw fabrication. Now what is falsification? Falsification is also somewhat like fabrication only. Manipulating the data. You do some experiment, you change the experiment, you show some other experiment, you change the results, you suppress some data or you include some data without any scientific and statistical validation or justification. And it is presented in such a way in the research report. This will result in misrepresentation of uncertainty. So there is no uncertainty, and during statistical analysis, validity, it will be caught. Then examples of falsification is alteration of data to render a modification of the variances in the data. That means you'll change the data to bring some changes in the variances in the data. The variances 0 means it is identical, otherwise spread out. Suppose mean value is there, standard deviation is there. You want to show some significance. So you want to say that both the respondents' answers are significant, or they are dependent on each other or independent of each other. So you want to show that the results according to your way. You change this modification in of the variances in the data. You bring some alteration in the data to do this, so that statistically it is okay with you. Then flat, it is okay. Falsification of dates and experimental procedures. So dates, you change the dates of experiment methods you change in your study research notebook. Then you also change the results because you want to bring about statistical validity. While statistical analysis, you want to get statistical validity. So you see somebody else's and see how to get statistical validity. You put those results in yours, but your results are different. You change the results to bring in statistical validity. Then you change them. You don't give the exact methods and methods of experiment or exact model used in your experiment. You change that and give different model. Then adding or deleting some misleading statements you provide in the manuscript of a published paper. You have published some paper in the manuscript that you give some false and misleading statements. Then you falsify your research accomplishments by submitting the same research multiple times. I told in a research work, suppose you are submitting a paper to a journal. So next year you submit the same paper to a different journal, and multiple times you send get your paper published. And this is also a sort of self-plagiarism. So you also change the materials and methods of the research study in a published paper. Whatever you have published a paper, you change the methods and materials of the study. Then provide false statements about the extent of the study. Suppose you have conducted a study in a village. You say that you have conducted study in 10 villages. So you change the extent of the study. You modify the extent of the study. Then falsification of telephone calls to attempt to collect data for a survey study. So you say that you have made telephone calls, collected data for the survey, for a survey study, but actually you have not telephoned to anybody, you did not do anything, but simply you are cooking up, you are making up data by just saying that you made telephone calls. This is falsification. Now self-plagiarism, so you can use your own work, you can cite your own work, that's fine, but multiple times same paper you use and then publish it without adding some new material, anything. See, review of literature, suppose you have done your paper and you are quoting your paper in the review of literature that you have done a study in so and so year based on this, that, and this year you are continuing with the same study, but you are extending the study about little further, you are making a study about suppose author patterns, single authorship, multiple authorship. I have made a study on single authorship, now I'm making a study on collaborative authorship, like that. So that way you can quote it in review of literature. But same thing you are publishing elsewhere is self-plagiarism. It also amounts to copyright infringement, because once you submit to your publisher, the publisher has the copyright for it. So he can infringe you. It is infringement of publisher's copyright. So you are liable for punishment for that also. So now unintentional plagiarism. Now what plagiarism can be three types. One is minimal careless plagiarism. Some people do very minimum careless plagiarism because they don't know what is plagiarism. So unintentionally they minimum do, they without carelessly they do some plagiarism which is not intentional. Then some others do because they don't know to cite properly. Citations they don't know to do. And quote excessively. They quote excessively, they don't know how much to quote. So they take from someone else's and quote excessively. Then you fail to represent in your own voice. You cannot integrate the ideas of others. You cannot take the ideas of others and present it in your own way. That is one lacking that skill. Another thing is you don't know to take the notes properly. In the class, whenever you go to take the notes, or in a research study, when your guide is telling something, you are not able to take their notes properly. You take it very carelessly because you don't know to do it. Another thing is you are not very familiar with the international styles of documentation. The documentation you are not familiar with. Then taking some ideas of others and putting it in your own way. You take the ideas of others, mix it and put it in your own way, write it in your way. That art you do not know that. So these are the unintentional plagiarism. Major types of plagiarism we see in term papers, assignments, project reports, theses, research reports, and actually books, articles, papers, etc. we see. Internet is not responsible for it because it's only a tool to detect it. And copying idea is not, you can take somebody's idea and copy it, but it's not a plagiarism as long as you do it in the proper way. You quote it, you cite it, and add your own also. Then it is done in a proper way. Now penalty, coming to penalty, what is the penalty that is levied for the people who indulge in plagiarism? Yeah. Sorry, if student they are found of academic misconduct, an official warning will be given to them, and they will be told that next time if they indulge in such activities, they will attract severe punishment. This is one way. Another thing is some of the penalties are mentioned here. They will be asked to submit another piece of work, and they will be asked if they are receiving some funds from a funded agency, governmental funds, scholarships, that will be stopped, and partial and total loss of marks in the examination of the assignment in which the offense has, that plagiarism has occurred. So they will be cut off marks or total cut off marks. And if it is a more large type of plagiarism, suspension from the university. And if the thesis is plagiarism, they will be revoked. The degree will be not given to them. They will be asked. They will write to the concerned authority to withdraw the degree, PhD degree. Then, if a researcher or academician is found guilty, they may face disciplinary action as per the institution rules. It will even cost a person of his professional credibility or even lose his job. He will be losing his job in his own department. And if he is getting some funds from the public, like CSR funds or ICSR funds, that will be stopped. From any government agency, whatever funds he gets, it will be stopped. And he will also ask to return the funds, whatever he has received, refund that. These are the penalties that are laid. Now, coming to civil and legal remedies for acts that constitute plagiarism. There are also legal punishment. Suppose there is an original author, like patent. If you copy the medicine or somebody else's medicine or something, and you put your name and sell it, it is liable for great loss to the original patent holder, and lots of amount. If it is noticed, then he will be asked to compensate the loss, plus he will also be imprisoned for that, because a major plagiarism, it is noted as that. And so these loss of compensation for the loss of the profit of the original writer, and also criminal punishment like imprisonment will be. Then cases of plagiarism, we'll go through some of the cases of plagiarism. Recently in the dating, Gilbert Welch, he was a health policy expert. He had advocated against superfluous cancer screening, and he had published another paper taken from another researcher's work according to the university administration. Copying somebody else's paper, even a professor is an expert of cancer. He was doing research in cancer, and he has produced somebody Dartmouth researchers work as his own. Another thing, now we have come to this Indian this thing. Those days in 2014, when it was, we could see lots of plagiarism because the Turnitin and Urkund were used by all the universities. So, Institute of Microbial Technology, CSR scientist Swarnajit Sen, he had sent 7 papers, out of which 3 papers were retracted. They were removed from PLOS One because they were plagiarized. And another 4 papers were also in the process of removing because they were also plagiarized. So totally 7 papers were plagiarized. Whatever he submitted were plagiarized. So action was taken. The next coming is Madras University bans scholar for plagiarism. A university research scholar has submitted a thesis, and it was okayed by the local examiners. In Madras University, they have sent one examiner will be evaluated from foreigner, will be an evaluated for one examiner will be a foreigner, that is from United States or from advanced countries, and one examiner will be local, either from Andhra Pradesh or from Kerala or from some other. So in Madras University, the local examiners have cleared his thesis, but a foreign evaluator had rejected, saying that it was a plagiarized thesis. So then Vice Chancellor Thiruvasagam, he said action will be taken against the guide, and the scholar was not awarded degree, plus he was also not permitted to re-register in the same university again. This was the punishment given. Then now coming to 2 PhD guides found guilty of plagiarism. 2 professors from the zoology department of Ahmednagar College, affiliated to the University of Pune, they were stripped of their guideship, and also 2 increment loss, because there was one professor at Agarkar Research Institute, Pune's premier institute. His name was Dr. Subrendra. He was the head of the Animal Sciences Department of Agarkar Research Institute. He investigated, he was doing a research paper he has published on study of chromosomes of house squirrels and screws, published in online journal. This paper, research study of this chromosomes of house squirrels and screws, were lifted by these professors and copied and claimed copyright over it. So they were stripped of their guideship. They were removed. They were not asked to supervise students, and also 2 increments were stopped because they were found guilty of plagiarism. Then coming to clarification sought from VC for plagiarism charges. Now coming to Professor Rangappa was the Vice Chancellor of Mysore University, and he was doing a project on synthesis and anti-cancer activity of new bioactivity heterocycles. It was costing about 41.60 lakhs, and 17.20 lakhs was released. Then there was a letter from DST, Department of Science and Technology, that he was doing a plagiarist research work, project work, and he was sought clarification, asked to submit an action report. Mysore University was asked to submit an action report on him. So this was one. Then another one is Jamia Millia Islamia. They had a new software introduced, and they had checked that out of 61 projects, 59 projects were plagiarized from various sources. Coming to JNU scholar, he was doing, there was Atul Kumar Singh. He was a research scholar at the Center for Economic Studies and Planning, Jawaharlal Nehru University. He did he wrote a paper for Patna-based Asian Development Research Institute about Bihar's special category status for Bihar, why it needed a special assistant, central assistant. This case study was done by him, and the Chief Minister Nitish Kumar had taken credit for it. He had claimed this and reported to the press. Then Management Development Research Institute suspends professor for plagiarism. Associate Professor Professor Amit Kapoor, he had plagiarized from a secret expenditure financial committee report and claimed copyright over it. And this management institute was recognized with the Harvard Business School, and it was he was also a honorary chairperson of the Institute of Competitiveness India, and which was recognized with the Harvard Business School. And he plagiarized from the secret expenditure financial committee note, and this was found out by the HRD, and they had asked Michael Porter, the professor of Harvard University, to remove or to dissociate him from the Harvard Business School. And he also received an award, Competency Hall of Fame award, which was retracted and they removed from him. And also other whatever position he was holding in Management Development Institute also was removed from him, and he was association with Harvard Business School was disassociated, and all this was stopped. So another thing is, now we come to the Pondicherry University Vice Chancellor. Hello.
Yes, can hear. Proceed, madam.
You are able to hear, no? Pondicherry University Vice Chancellor Chandra Krishnamurthy. She was, she was Pondicherry University Vice Chancellor, and she had submitted a book on legal education in India. Out of 8 chapters, 5 chapters were plagiarized. And the Teachers Association, which Vice Chancellor complaining about Vice Chancellor, everybody scared. So Teachers Association, slowly they went to the then HRD Minister Smriti Irani and complained about that. And finally it was found that out of that, even 3 books, other 2 books were also plagiarized, which she has mentioned in her CV, which was not published at all. So she has written 2 books which was not published at all. And another popular case was B.S. Rajput of Humayun University, Nainital. He was a serial plagiarist, like serial killer, serial plagiarist, in which seven Stanford University professors wrote about him to the then President Abdul Kalam. So he was one of the biggest plagiarists, because 7 Stanford University professors wrote about him. Then now you can see that, these are all some of the instances I'm telling you. So there was also C.N.R. Rao, was eminent scientist who was Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's advisor and scientific advisor to the Prime Minister, and Kripan is senior professor. But it's not their fault. I'll just to the point. Indian Institute of Science, they were working. Basant Chitra was the student research scholar. She had published a paper in Journal of Luminescence in the year 2011. But what happened was 1/3 of the introduction portion she had plagiarized. That is 20 attributed lines. She had taken verbatim, word by word copy from June 2009 issue of Nanotechnology and January 2000 issue of Advanced Materials. ITCO's Department of Physics University professor was the first author for the Nanotechnology. George Heliatus for the Imperial College London was the first author of the Advanced Materials. So actually these 2 foreign professors did not know about this plagiarism. So actually the 2 anonymous persons have noted this and reported. So actually now coming to this, what happened was, even in 2009 nanotechnology, she had written a paper with 2 other senior scientists, and it was also 6 lines were taken from the introduction, were taken from word by word from 1995 paper Huang in Applied Physics Letters Journal. It also contained few lines from 2005 book Peter and Manuel Kadana from the book Fundamentals of Semiconductors, Physics, Material Properties. These two books, this nanotechnology, she had plagiarized, but only introduction. I'm talking about introduction part of it. Now, another paper was published in 2010 in Applied Physics Express, which was also plagiarized by S. Venkata Prasad. He was working as a research scholar for the Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research in Bangalore. 7 lines were taken from 2008 paper published by Matthew in Applied Physics Letters. These were all brought out by anonymous person to the press. Okay. Now coming to this, actually this was also another paper in 2011, Advanced Materials. It also contained 12 verbatim words, copied words from 2010 paper of Surjit Ghosh, Applied Physics Letters. So now if we see that in the Journal of Luminescence, in nanotechnology, applied materials, they all see they have copied from this. So what happens is, when they were asked that senior professors like C.N.R. Rao and Professor Kripanidhi, they wrote an apology letter to Journal of Luminescence, and they said, we don't check the introduction. The main thing is the guides don't go through the introduction or any. They only see the interpretation of results. They see the research ideas. Then they see the experimental part. They see the experimental part. They see the interpretation of results. They see the research ideas. They don't go through the introduction. These people have copied only the introduction part. But still they had written an apology letter to the paper, Hindu paper, and to the journals. This happens. Original, totally original, and it is based on technical. Seen at all. Cited the source, journal, and same science writing in English. spotted, and they are fighting against this to restore scientific research, ethical values in scientific research, and spreading awareness about this problem. So research protocols. What is research protocols? They have said that if people, 4 or 5 people are doing joint research, each person's name should be mentioned, and contribution, step-by-step procedures should be mentioned. What are the procedures that are taken, that are conducted in the experiment, so that it should be liable for individual verification, and that if there is a big instrument purchased by CSR fund or something like spectroscopy, 35 lakhs, 40 lakhs, all the students should combinedly give a promissory in writing that they will take care of the instrument properly and use it is for collective use, and they should take training first. Workshop will be conducted, training will be conducted. They should undertake undertake training. They should attend workshop. Then only start using the instrument. Then anything. This research protocols, SSV has mentioned that Society for Scientific Values, that any experimentation on animals, they have to follow the standards of committee on the control and supervision and control of experimentation on animals, Ministry of Environmental Science and Forestry, Ministry of Environmental Science and Forestry, Government of India rules should be followed. If there is any experiment on human biological parts or any other human cloning or anything, they have to strictly adhere to the rules mentioned in the Indian Council of Medical Research. And if there is any new in clinical research, I was mentioning about insertion of clinical note. So clinical research, they have to follow the standards, and they should get it approved by the Center for Drugs Control and Supervision, Center for Drugs Control and Standards Organization, Government of Ministry of Family and Health, Family Welfare, Health and Family Welfare, Government of India rules have to be adhered. That is seen even now. COVID vaccine was approved by this Central Drugs Standards Control Organization. After that only it was released. So similarly, and also that if they are doing that any chemistry, they are doing some hazardous material will be there. See, in chemical factory, that wastage materials, if they are thrown out like that, they affect the human being, and this is the cost. So they should be taught how to dispose of the waste material. Some guidelines are formed for that. Some rules are formed. Those things they have to follow those protocols and rules before doing that research. Throw away the hazardous material and waste material in some other place, and disposed of in a particular way that is prescribed in the rules. So these are the research protocols that SSV has written, and also that they have to also see that if there is many important research on GM crops or stem cell research and anything, they have to take the expert's opinion, and if the expert's opinion clears only, they will, and the expert's opinion should be free from political, commercial and social bias. They should give free of this, their opinion should be. They should not be influenced by any of these things. And also the role of whistleblowers. Suppose a person is writing a research paper and his guide is writing the same research paper, is presenting somewhere in foreign country, taking credit to it. So he should not be victimized. If he brings this fact to the authority, the authority should keep should protect the confidentiality of this person, and also do the thorough investigation, and should not so that he should not be victimized. So this case should be taken. So all this is mentioned very clearly in SSB. Now coming to Shodh Ganga, in 2014, 900 universities were provided with Turnitin. Then now they are provided with Urkund. So first year, 1,000 instructors, 700.
Madam, shall we conclude? It has crossed more than 90 minutes.
Okay. I'll just 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Now everybody is using their own softwares, but now coming to in Indian environment, now they are giving Urkund software. Urkund software is used by all the universities. The difference between Urkund and this thing is, when you do a paper in Turnitin, it gives more percentage. When you do it in Urkund, it gives less. But there are also studies which says that Urkund has 6% and Turnitin is 0, and someone says that in one ResearchGate scholar said in Turnitin it was 90% and in Urkund it is 6%. So, I have checked personally many papers in both. I feel that Urkund has less percentage when compared to Turnitin, but that because of this, there's one fact that Turnitin is vast, it's a US-based product and is used by many people in all over the world, and it is US means anyway it is bigger. And Urkund is a Sweden product launched in 2000 and that is 1997. So, that is more popular and many people are using it. And it is actually there is a students archive database which students have been submitting over the years, which was checked by Turnitin. And that was now this year it is transferred to Urkund, and Urkund is able to check that students archival content also now. So now the similarity can be marginally, it can come down. And so, both Turnitin and this Urkund can be little narrowed because of this. Because students archive also it's going to check this Urkund. Otherwise, there's a lot of difference between both the software. So now coming to the UGC regulation, now they are accepting 10% similarity. So I feel that all the universities throughout India, they should use one software, Urkund or Turnitin. Because some central universities like University of Hyderabad, JNU and all, Madras Pondicherry University and all, they are using Turnitin. And some of the other universities are using Urkund. So 10% it is okay. 10 to 40% if it is plagiarized, they will be asked to submit another. 40 to 60% they will be suspended for a year. Faculty will forfeit an annual pay in price and prohibited for supervising students for 2 years. If students plagiarize more than 60%, they will be kicked out of the program. Faculty will not get a pay increase for 2 years and 3 years ban on supervising students. Then they will not be able to supervise the students for 3 years if it is 60%. This is the punishment that is given. And in latest this thing, they have used Turnitin, and the HRD ministry said that 3 theses were found to be plagiarized. One was Chandra Krishnamurthy's Pondicherry University, Anil Kumar Upadhyay Mahatma Gandhi Vidyapeeth Varanasi 2017 was plagiarized thesis, and Vinay Kumar Pathak, Vice Chancellor of Dr. Abdul Kalam University thesis was plagiarized. 3 theses were plagiarized, one in 15, one in 17, one in 18. So it is that 90%. It can go up to the level of 90% plagiarism. So 8 pages document SSB has produced, that is declaring that abstract, summary, hypothesis, results, conclusion, recommendation shall not have any similarity. So they conducted even workshops and also. So can I take 2 more minutes, sir? Humayun sir? Can I take 2 more minutes?
Oh, okay, madam. Please conclude. After 2 minutes, you conclude. Okay.
Self-plagiarism. We have done a survey with the students who have submitted thesis to University of Hyderabad. We sent a feedback form to them. They sent this. Their observation on Turnitin is self-plagiarism should be omitted. University certification, they want separate university certification for similarity index. Suppose it's 10%, university should give it a certificate. Then they tell that most of the instructors do not know to operate Turnitin. Students should have their own account. Then a single algorithm cannot work for all the writing styles, they say. Different writing styles, statistics, sciences, social sciences differ. Guide certification is important than plagiarism sect, they are saying. Awareness workshop is necessary for every student. They say that methodology, statistical techniques, data calculation should be ignored by the software. Methodology, statistical data calculation should be ignored by the software, they say. Then 72.5% agreed that this is the real-time survey we have done. 72.5% agreed that writing styles and quality of research has improved. So actually, plagiarism is nothing that we have to only, it is just going to improve our knowledge. At the same time that we can be proudly say that we are going to, our content is original and it's not a copied one. And so faculty should set an example by putting all the course materials, everything online and citing the sources and giving from real-time surveys to the students by giving theories to apply it in the practical way by giving to conduct surveys, interviews and all and do the research work. So now we're coming to this last page. There are 10 to 15% of academicians and 25 to 35% students are plagiarists. Plagiarism has to be prevented at all levels by proper awareness, counseling, following strict ethical and research guidelines, open and transparent policy, putting contents online so that everybody can see you on content and it can be also viewed, and it can also be protected against plagiarism. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much, Uma madam, for your information.
Ma'am, can we show the
Yeah, please.
ma'am, can we show the second last slide, ma'am?
Yeah, tell me.
What?
Ma'am,
No,
can you show the
question?
second last
Which
slide,
second
ma'am? The
last?
69. And the 69 slide. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What did you say? I didn't get you. I didn't get you. Which second one you want? 1 minute.
No,
I'll just open the. Which point you want? You want the student survey?
Nothing, ma'am. And the second last slide, ma'am. No, nothing, ma'am.
10 to 15%.
Ma'am, I just wanted to
Look,
take
I will
this
tell you.
screenshot
10
of-
to,
Yes, ma'am.
and I will tell you 10 to 15%. I have come to the screen. Wait. 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. 1 minute. So which one you want to take? 1 minute.
Yes, ma'am, I took, ma'am. Now I don't need anything.
Now is it
Okay,
okay?
ma'am.
This is the one you want to take?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay? Or you want this? Yeah. 10 to 15% students. This one you wanted, no? Or this one?
Yes, ma'am, I took, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Uma madam, for your informative presentation. And you have disseminated a lot of useful information to us, and highly useful for the researchers, faculty members, as well as professionals. And you have explained the various types of plagiarism, what ways people are involving in plagiarism, that is intentional plagiarism, unintentional plagiarism. And you have given several examples of plagiarism also, and reasons for plagiarism, preventive measures, and the softwares, etc. And now there are several doubts in the minds of the audience.
So you can ask, please. 1 or 2 doubts.
Hi. In fact, the audience consists of several distinguished faculty members from
Okay,
various
please.
colleges.
I'm welcome to the questions.
Okay, it will come. Not only that, there are medical doctors also in the group.
Okay.
Okay. So, in fact, there was a question from, it was in the chat box by Dr. Shivananda Bhatt of Manipal University, concerning the copy of, I think Shivananda Bhatt will directly ask you, that is regard to the image, copying of images. Dr. Shivananda Bhatt is there? Dr. Shivananda Bhatt.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Madam, I'm very happy with the excellent presentation. And
Thank you so
thank
much.
the organizers also, Dr. Humayun also, for giving opportunity to ask questions here. Madam, my question is, Madam, actually the documents, original documents contains images also.
Yes, okay.
So I had a question from one of our users in the library stating that whether the plagiarism software detect the images if plagiarized.
Yes, it will be. See, suppose I take a Google image and put it. If I make some modification, Google images, I give the source, and modified I write. If I've taken that copy and paste from Google only, I've given the source, Google images I've given. You have to cite the images also. If you are doing any modification also, you should cite. Suppose you have taken an image, but you have made some modification to the image. You can say so-and-so image taken and modified.
Madam, we have to cite it. That is okay, madam. But if the plagiarism software detects it, if it is not cited?
Images, it will deduct. It will deduct, I think so. It will deduct. Some images it deducts, some images it does. Yeah, images it deducts sometimes.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
But formulas and all also, formulas, even if it deducts also, it will not be considered because it will be minus. That amount of plagiarism will be minus. Formulas, symbols, these things will be minus.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
But even images, if you are copying some image, you have to cite it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Shivan.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shivan.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Dr. Mohit from Delhi. Dr. Mohit.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for giving this opportunity. It was an excellent opportunity to be a part of this program. Very good afternoon to you, ma'am. Dr. Vyuma, how are you, ma'am? Hello.
Okay, proceed. What is your question? Please proceed.
Sorry. Yes, ma'am, I am actually writing a review. And in that, I have a question. I'm consulting a couple of copyrighted books. So when you open the first page, it says see copyrighted. So I'm doing the proper in-text citation, APA 7, as well as I'm going to put it in the reference section. So can I use these copyrighted books, or I need to write to the publisher to take approval? Although I'm taking very less content. Suppose the total number of pages are 200 and I want to take just half page out of that book. So in that case, can I do paraphrase for these books, ma'am?
Sir, you need not take the publisher's permission for that. It is academic or research work that is exempted from copyright laws.
Right. I appreciate it, Dr. Sunny Joseph. And this manuscript that I'm working on, so this manuscript will be considered later on as for the commercial use. Suppose I transform that manuscript to a book, or it will be academic, because I'm doing this kind of writing first time. So I just thought to ask and
before commercializing it, I think it is better to take their permission.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think Dr. Vyuma ma'am is not there, Professor Humayun Kabir.
Okay. So you can use it for academic purpose, not for commercial purpose. That's what he was telling. And Dr. Hanifa is there. University of Calicut University. Not there.
Hello, sir.
Oh, yes.
So
you are having the question regarding the self-citation.
No, I have no question. I have no question. So it was a very wonderful talk, very informative, lot of loaded information. I just ask one thing. Just our Professor Shivananda Bhatt sir asked it, whether do you have come across any software that detect the images in a document? If the software is able to detect the similarity of an image of a document. Actually, that was Shivanand Bhatt sir asked.
Yes, sir.
Just for clarification, Uma Madam. I think Uma Madam is not available.
But I don't know about Urkund, because Urkund I have not seen it detect images, whether it is, but Turnitin detects images.
No, madam, Turnitin also doesn't detect.
Maybe some now they have excluded. So beginning it was detecting images also, that sometimes they make they make some changes in between. First it was not detecting, it was detecting quotations also. Then they said if you put in quotation marks, it won't detect. So they put in quotation marks. So when you put in quotation marks, it doesn't detect quotations.
Definitely, the images can be detected by its metadata. If the document has metadata, definitely that can be used for similarity search. But the image itself, if I don't know if any software as such can search.
Whether I will tell one point. See whether the software detects or not. Suppose even your examiner will see the image. He will know that if it is a plagiarism, you have to cite the sources. And even Google Images, if you take Google Images also, you should give google.com source google.com. Then otherwise
yes, madam.
You can write modified.
Yes, madam. That is the other part of the
yeah. See, another thing I want to tell. See, even self-plagiarism, somebody was asking. Self-plagiarism, you can do it in your review of literature, you can do. But same paper publishing in another journal next year is wrong. You got it, no?
Regarding the self-plagiarism, whenever we are writing a document, a manuscript, if it is very essential,
yes. When you're doing research, you have to write.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you very much, madam, for your wonderful.
That will be coming in your, if it comes in your thesis also, don't worry. Even if you have written a paper, you have written a paper before you're submitting your thesis, and that paper you can give it in your thesis also. Your guide will certify that, saying that it is one of your research papers. So nothing to worry about that. Even that you can give it in your, you can give your research paper in your thesis, no problem.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
Dr. Surendran.
That will be excluded.
Dr. Surendran, Cochin University of Science and Technology.
Sir, I don't have any question, and I respect the way Madam has presented this class, because this session, and I think that she has gone through many sites and documents for giving us this talk. And my suggestion is that please give some more instructions to our students and research scholars on the way of citing a work and way of.
I want to tell you.
You have given some small examples, but this is my suggestion. I think you can highlight these things, and because this is a very important problem. All types of students, all students from faculties.
One small.
So you can give some good examples of how can we cite some works. The way of citing.
See, listen to me 1 minute. See, if you go to
for avoiding plagiarism.
I will tell you easy method. There is one Mentally is a reference tool which you can download free of cost. Elsewhere's Mentally. If you go to that, you can do research collaboration in that. No, it is there. MLA style, APA style, every style is there. If you go automatically put the references and choose the style, it will give you the citation styles. Mentally reference tool. If you go to that, you download that. You put all your references in that. In that, you paste all your references and arrange it. You just choose APA or MLA. It will arrange automatically. You don't have to bother also.
No, madam. This is not my suggestion. What I wanted to tell you that you have given some examples of citing work in our own words. That you have some examples, but that portion is very small. So I want you to highlight those part, because we don't know.
You want to see you mean paraphrased version?
Not paraphrasing also, because for example, nudge theory of Richard Thaler is a 256-page book. So how can we cite that book? So for example, one example, people are human beings not thinking rationally always. This is the citation we need. So there is no question of plagiarism. No, here not borrowing his own words, others' words. We make words. So this way, this type of examples can be given to our students and research scholars. Then they can avoid these types of plagiarism. That is what I wanted to share with you.
Okay. But common knowledge things and all, you don't have to bother about that. See, I told you that common examples have common knowledge. Certain things like Indira Gandhi was assassinated on so-and-so date. Smoking causes cancer. Like that kind of common things are there, means you don't have to even cite.
But madam, net theory is not common knowledge. It's something.
That I know. That is not common knowledge. I know that.
So, madam, I am supporting Surendran. So the question is, plagiarism is important, but my question is whether UGC has taken it seriously to be taught in our higher education institutions, and if it should be taught, who are the best teachers for that?
Who are the best?
Yes, it has been included in the syllabus. It is there in the syllabus.
In which syllabus?
In the research methodology. In the
research methodology, it is there. In research methodology, it is there. And in our university and all, University of Hyderabad and all, the publisher himself came and conducted workshops on that. Every year we used to have workshops.
Okay, this is in every student's research methodology paper.
Students, yes, they actually every year we conduct workshops, and that particular day, whole day, the students are supposed to attend the workshop.
But I think the subject teachers, most of the subject teachers may not be sufficiently competent to teach about plagiarism, no?
We taught, no, I'm teaching, no, library people taught, no.
Library people, okay, but for other faculty members.
Other faculty members, they call us only. We only go and take this such type of classes, research methodology classes in social sciences we have taken.
Yes, that
regarding
is
information sources, regarding plagiarism, information sources, and all, we have taken classes.
Yeah,
for social science research scholars and all.
So UGC has recognized the librarians are academic, but not as teachers, right?
No, see, teachers means we are not, whether we are teachers or not teachers, that is different. If our university calls us and asks us to teach, you want to be labeled as teachers, or you want to know the subject, that is more important. Students should be taught something, means that we are ready to do. You don't have to label yourself as teachers when you want to inculcate some inculcate some principles or ethics in them. You don't have to be a teacher. You can be an ordinary person also to inculcate ethics.
But it's okay. But for getting time within the academic timetable, teaching for teacher should be must, no?
No, actually for research scholars only we have taken. For social science research scholars, I have taken some classes on research methodology. The teachers themselves invited us. The professors of sociology invited us. So myself, my Dr. Sushila, myself, and then my other colleagues went and taught Professor Koteshwar Rao. We all went and taught for social science research scholars. Some classes we had taken, information tools to information sources, then access to this thing, then plagiarism plus citation styles. This all we have taken classes to them.
Okay, ma'am, it's very good. But I have another question. See, in academics, I have another question. In academic examinations, see, examination essays, whether this is within the ambit of plagiarism. In examination essays, I am citing different ideas. Whether I have to cite the original author in the academic examination essays.
No. There and all, you don't have the examinations and all, you don't have, you are writing an answer. See, academic writing, academically, when you're writing an answer to in the examination, there you don't have to cite whatever you study material, that's course material, studied material, need not have any plagiarism. It will not even check for plagiarism. Don't have to check it also for plagiarism.
But the scholar, the teacher, the evaluator can check, no?
No need, see, when examination papers, academic papers, and for classroom teaching, for academic work, you don't have to check for plagiarism. If I'm writing a course material for some postgraduate students, we don't have to check for plagiarism. That is a course material. You have to refer and write.
No, madam. So that's not my question. See, a question for 1,000 or 2,000 words essay.
Okay.
Student presents many ideas. In that, the student presents a lot of ideas from different authors. In that case, whether the student is supposed to cite the original author for each ideas, whether he is presenting it as his own.
If the idea is somebody else's, you have to give. But if the idea is at least yours, you don't have to cite anybody. If it is ideas of other, many ideas you are integrating together, means some researchers have observed, you can write.
Yeah, certainly.
Like that. Some researchers have observed that this is, but as per my knowledge, my illustration, my study is like this, and many researchers have observed this is the thing, you can keep writing, and you can put forth your views also in between.
Yeah, I think it's a best practice even in academic examination also. It is put whenever there is an idea is borrowed.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Shibu, Pondicherry University, Dr. Shibu, he's continuously doing plagiarism checking. Dr. Shibu KM is there? Dr. Shibu KM.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Bhuvayu. Dr. Bhuvayu, it was a nice presentation. I have one
Thank you so much.
I have
Hope
one
you're not bored. Hope nobody is bored.
No.
I have one observation and one question for you. My observation is the plagiarism allowed limit in anywhere in the world it is 0%. We cannot copy and paste it as our own. That is my observation.
Okay.
And my question for you is: do we have any platform to check the Indic language like the Sanskrit or Hindi? And along with that, I have another question. Which is the best software you have experienced the Turnitin? Do we have any other platform? The UGC is providing us Turnitin. Sorry,
Urkund, I have checked Urkund also.
Yeah. So which one is better in your
Better
experience?
Better is Turnitin because it's widely used, bigger product. See, one question I will ask you: if you want to go to USA or Sweden, which country you will prefer?
Sorry, would you come again, madam?
No, I'm telling you. See, Turnitin is best, but all the universities cannot afford that. So UGC has bargained and bought Urkund. But Urkund now this year they have said that they were not checking some students' archival database. Now that is transferred to Urkund, and now they are checking that also. When they are covering archival of students, maybe their similarity rate may be marginally matched with it will match with Turnitin, I feel.
Yes, it is.
Because Turnitin is, mainly the high prices they charge. And for different universities, different prices, and they say that different depending upon instructors and user community. But Urkund is charging same price for all universities, even private universities are charging same prices.
Yes, it is. In Pondicherry University also, we tried the same document with both software, Turnitin and Urkund. Urkund could only find 2% of plagiarism in the software, but at the same time, 22% was found in Turnitin. So
Yes, I checked one paper, it showed 10% in Urkund, it showed 40% in Turnitin.
Yeah, naturally, the question raised here is, most of the universities or institutions, they have the Urkund as a free of cost software from UGC. Do you think it will affect the academic integrity in the country?
It will not, because UGC has permitted, UGC said 10% irrespective of any software. They never said only to Urkund or Turnitin. They have said 10%. Whether you use Urkund or Turnitin, it is 10%. People who are using Urkund is fortunate.
Yeah, the universities or institutions who are using Turnitin, the students will be hard on luck, saying that the Turnitin will find a more plagiarism or similarity rather than Urkund. So, do you think that this difference of 20 or 25% of plagiarism will have an impact on the academic integrity in the country as a whole?
I do think, because I always feel, that this year, since the Urkund is trying to bring in no repository feature, and they are also trying to cover some more things. So I think they will come up to the mark little this year. They are also checking some students' archival content. So their database is improving now. So it should be marginally, it should differ with Turnitin. That's what I hope. They are making lots of improvements now. But my feeling is all the universities should use only one software. That should be mentioned by the UGC.
Yeah, it is true. Thank you very much, madam. I would like to add one more point here what Dr. Surendran and Dr. Hanifa raised here. I came across two cases. One is one of the students in one of the leading universities in North India. He converted all entire his thesis into image format, and he submitted, and the plagiarism was nil, and naturally he got the PhD.
know any meaning, take down those words and go to the dictionary, take the meaning of those words, understand those words, write it in your own words and compare it. And check the grammar. Grammar you can check in the online only. If you go to grammar check, it will show you in red line, it will give you, then you double click and see. Synonyms, you see, right click, you see. For home, you can get in-house, domestic, so many things you get. So everything is now so easier. Those days it was difficult. Nowadays it is very easy. You can learn in English by sitting at home with your computer, you can learn English.
Okay, Niharika Yadav. Niharika Yadav.
Madam, we are trying our level best. Thank you.
Hello.
Hard work and reading.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good afternoon, ma'am. Very good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon to you.
Please introduce yourself. Please introduce.
Myself Niharika, and I'm a master's degree student pursuing from IGNOU University, and right now I'm doing a master's degree in food nutrition. Ma'am, I just want to ask you that now in second year, we are going to ask to present our dissertation. As ma'am, you told that when we will use images in our work, even though if we edit it, it can also be detected. Then what is the next or alternate way to present our work?
No, you can copy the images, no problem. But you can give the source down. Give the source.
In the
either in footnote or endnote or footnote, you give the source of the image. You have copied that image, okay. If you want, you can make modification. You can see the image and make your own modification, or you can keep the image and give the source. What is there if you give the source?
Okay, ma'am. It means that in the reference column, we have to give the source from where we have taken the image.
Yeah, you can give in the reference. No, the reference section by below the image only. You can give in brackets. You give below the image source. You give and put colon and give there.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Niharika. We have crossed more than 2 hours now. So anyway, I think if there are no other questions, we will conclude here. So thanks for the educated and
sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Professor Humayun Kabir.
Okay, proceed.
Yeah, my question was in relation to the same. Yeah, that if the book is by an organization like World Health Organization, so in that case also I can go ahead and because it says copyrighted in the content, I can cite properly, I can do a proper referencing in text, and I can still do it.
Yeah, you can do.
Okay, so I don't need to take permission from them, because most of these books they are saying
you don't have to
copyrighted.
if you are taking from them, cite the source, and it should not only be giving their content, your content also should be there.
Correct, ma'am. Right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the educated, enlightened audience for the active participation.
I have to give one suggestion. See, many people are asking about images. I am asking one thing. Images, whether your whole thesis will contain images, 1 or 2 images, how many images it will contain? 10 images or 20 images, okay. Or it will contain tables and all, images. Images will do on your own. Okay, 1 or 2 images if you are going to copy, even if the software doesn't show you that image is copied or not, but somebody will be knowing that where it is written, your guide who is evaluating will be knowing. So it's always better to give the source of the image and down the image only, just in the brackets you give source colon so-and-so images you give. That is enough. Just below the image only if you give the source, nothing wrong, even in thesis. This is my suggestion.
So that is whatever you take, you have to acknowledge.
Yes.
That is the final thing. Okay.
Whether software is detecting our image or not, that is not your problem. Problem is your guide who is evaluating also may know about the image. So just below the image itself, you can give the source.
Okay. So thank you. Thanks to Uma Madam for spending your precious time with our Kalpro community. Over to Dr. Sudhi S. Vijayan for the formal vote of thanks. He is an associate editor of our Kalpro Bulletin and secretary of Kalpro and assistant professor, Department of Library and Information Science, University of Kerala. Over to Dr. Sudhi S. Vijayan.
We all know the significance of plagiarism checking, especially in the present technological world. The presentation explains about the objectives, advantages, reasons for plagiarism, research in plagiarism, types of plagiarism with the examples, importance of citation, paraphrasing, explain about Turnitin, identicate, Urkund, and preventive measures and UGC regulations, etc. And it is very informative. And it is my privilege to have the opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks for this event to all dignitaries participate in our program. First, thank to our chief guest, Dr. Uma Madam, former Deputy Librarian, University of Hyderabad. On behalf of the Kelpro, I record our deep sense of appreciation and gratitude to you, Madam. I would also like to thank for the valuable information she shared with us and time she spends for us. I thank Sri Rajendran Dula sir, Dr. Humayun Kabir sir, and Sri Arun Kumar for arranging the webinar and also for all the webinar, all the Kelpro family members. Finally, I extend my gratitude to the great personalities from inside and outside the country who were spent their valuable time with us. I also thank all the participants who assembled here making this event a success. Expect your presence and support in our future webinars. Thank you and a happy Republic Day to all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm happy that I could answer, I could interact with so many people. Thank you, Professor Humayun.
Okay. So thank you, Uma Madam. Thank you all the participants. And
thanks for Uma Madam and Kelpro for organizing webinars like this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. And now the meeting is over now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.